Alright, so I'm here to talk about HSR, which are high-speed rail in California. So, do you know that California's broke right now? Well, politicians won't say how. Our state is now broke. Current annual budget shortfall is $16 billion this year, and at least $132 billion. The whole, as in somewhere between $500 billion and $1 trillion, possibly, in unfunded state pension liabilities, depending on the rate to be paid. In the article of California High-Speed Rail, the pros and cons from fourstory.org in 2012, Tavera explains that the state of California is already broke and that California has already been cutting necessary programs like education. Why should we spend? We should spend taxpayer money on an unnecessary project when we can't even finance our original and ordinary options like education. Many Californians and I do not support the ability for California to waste their taxpayer dollars on the high-speed rail. Does anyone know anything about high-speed rail?
Does the bar count?
Yes, from San Francisco, LA. Okay, so the main problem with spending for the high-speed rail is that the price tag is relatively so large that it will redirect funds necessary to complete the project at the expense of other programs. High-speed rail could now cost more than $130 billion to complete this 800-mile system from SF to LA, plus additional funds annually in excess of $1 billion to operate and maintain each year. Proposition 1A, which was narrowly passed back in 2008, should not have been on the ballot in the first place. Proponents of legislation lied about the ultimate project cost, saying that $10 billion bond was enough capital to get started on this enormous project, with estimated costs near $30 billion. They assumed that private donations could make up shortfall after these 5 years for light rail, and there was no money for 5 years. California should have been more clued in as on how much in debt and the negative costs associated with financing using state-issued general obligation bonds. If California's public or special interest groups seeking their own financial benefits sought legislation to stop high-speed rail, then California's future would be brighter. If people became concerned about California's serious debt problems, they decided to repeal Proposition 1A. The Californians pay more attention to government budget summary and statewide need for funding programs than Californians would understand why the high-speed rail is a terrible use of capital. So by this graph, as you can see, it shows on how much where they're putting the money in the budget. So K to 12, we get $41 billion each year. And like here, for higher education, like the CSUs and UCs, only $11 billion. So, and all the way around, it just explains on how the numbers go. So, as you can see, that this is way too much money for just we can't even fund our education. We keep cutting and cutting and cutting. So the entire California budget for the 2013-2014 calendar year shows a grand total of $97.65 billion to be funded, which is still less than the build cost of the high-speed rail from ebudget.ca.gov in 2013. High-speed rail is now becoming a significant part of our state budget. California spends $11.1 billion in higher education, with $2.8 billion allocated to the University of California, and $2.5 billion for the Cal State University system. By comparison, high-speed rail has become quite large, as the 2013 and 2014 state budget has apportioned high-speed rail with a $3.2 billion, also from ebudget.ca.gov in 2013. The estimated cost for high-speed rail continues to rise every day. The California High-Speed Rail Authority extended the contract with Parsons Pinkerhoff of 2015 and budgeted another $96 million on top of the original $199 million just to move forward with developing the high-speed rail business plan, consulting expertise to negotiate contracts, providing oversight, risk management support, and monitor the design build from Huffington Post in 2012. Tudor Perini was selected on April 17th in 2013 for the design and construction of the internal Madera to Fresno segment of the California high-speed rail system that cost about $985 million. Tier 3 was the lowest cost of 5 project builders who qualified as the last technical skill for the build of this project. From Perini.com in 2013. By making California more aware of their tax dollars may be wasted on high-speed rail, then perhaps the public can stop high-speed rail before it's too late and resolve the real issues that concern the citizens of this great state. Making Californians aware of budgets of spending, then we can get California back on track. Preventing the state of California from building a high-speed rail at this time will provide the citizens of California with many positive benefits. Number 1, stop Central Valley lawsuits from the agricultural community. 2, allow the California legislature the opportunity to continue funding necessary programs. And 3, resolve the current annual budgetary deficit. Now that you are aware of these problems, that the high-speed rail can cause, I can just ask you, why? Why would you take money when we don't even have it? We need to make sure that Californians understand how their money is being handled and being spent by politicians of our past and current state legislature. The first thing you can do is spread awareness around the state of California by sharing the information about high-speed rail with your friends and family members. Another way to make a difference is to sign the petition someone or some group should to repeal high-speed rail. Lastly, should our efforts fail to derail high-speed rail, then our state is in financial ruin. We will need to organize throughout California to bring real change and responsibility to the future leaders of this state. Thanks for listening.